The Nintendo Switch is very successful, and third parties are finally starting to wise up and port their games to the system. However, not all ports are the same. I'll go over 3 of the best and 3 of the worst ports on the Nintendo Switch system. Before getting into this, let's set some ground rules. Wii U ports are excluded from this list because I believe that they are the best ones on the system. This is also not reviews of the games, it only has to do with the quality of the ports themselves. And I've not played all the ports, so this is just my personal list of what I believe are the best and worst from what I've played. Now let's start with the 3 games that I believe are the best ports on the system. First up, we have Doom. Now Bethesda has provided continued support with Skyrim, Wolfenstein, and Doom for the Switch, and Doom 2016 is one of the best ports on the system. Sure, it doesn't look as pretty as the other versions of the game, but Doom on the Switch feels like Doom, and that's all that matters. Mowing down demons in handheld mode feels great. Of course, the resolution is low in docked mode, but in handheld mode, it looks perfectly fine, and I love playing in handheld mode because that's what the Switch is all about. Panic Button also continues to update the game to improve the quality of it. They even added gyro controls that everybody has been asking for. With the upcoming Doom Eternal coming to Switch, I have the utmost confidence that the port will be competent and worth the price. The next port that I find fantastic is Cuphead. Now this was exclusive to Xbox at one point, and it's pretty crazy to see it to come over to the Nintendo Switch, and it's a perfect fit for the system. It runs and plays just like the Xbox version. I don't have much to say about this game. The port is great. The game is great. If you haven't picked it up yet, it has been on the top of the eShop for weeks and weeks ever since it came out. You should definitely check it out. It's only $20. It's the same price as the Xbox version, but this version you can play on the go. So definitely check it out. Now the last game that I think is one of the better ports on the system is Diablo 3, and I actually think that this is the best port on the Nintendo Switch so far. It includes all the content of the other versions and even has some exclusive Nintendo content. I can't stress enough how well done this port actually is. The resolution isn't the best, but I don't think it has to be. It's a pretty old game, so I wasn't expecting 4K. The resolution on the Switch is fine. The game runs at 60 frames per second, and I didn't have any frame rate issues while playing, which was phenomenal. Even when there were a ton of enemies online, it didn't hiccup. I didn't have any issues finding friends online, inviting friends to play games, doing the season challenges. All that stuff worked fine on the Nintendo Switch, but where this really shines is in handheld mode. Diablo 3 is perfect for handheld mode. You could just pick up, go on one of the quests, play it, and put it right back down. I found myself sitting on the couch with the TV on in the background, just working through dungeons, leveling up my character. And I think it's a phenomenal port, and if you haven't played Diablo 3, or even if you have in the past, you should definitely pick it up for the Nintendo Switch. Now let's move on to some of the ports that I don't think work that well on the system. First up, Resident Evil 4. Now, Resident Evil 4 is one of the greatest games ever made and one of my all-time favorite games. However, I have to point out some things that I'm not too fond of for the Nintendo Switch port. It feels like Capcom just copy and pasted the 360 PS3 version of the game. There are no changes from that version, which is pretty disappointing. The tank controls have not aged well, so it would have been nice to have some updated controls. Other games such as Doom, as I mentioned before, added gyro controls, and that would have been a much welcome feature to add some value to this port. Now the Switch has a pricing problem, and Capcom is taking full advantage of it. Resident Evil 4 is $30 on the eShop, which is $10 higher than the PS4 and Xbox One, and essentially the same port. I know value is subjective, but it's hard to recommend the Switch version unless it's updated to add some Switch exclusive content or features. The second port that I don't think is that good on the Switch is Fortnite. Now Fortnite is literally on everything, and the Switch version might be the worst. It's capped at 30 frames per second, which feels terrible when you're playing against somebody that's on a console or a PC that is at 60 frames per second. So if you're playing on a Switch and you get in a cross-platform lobby, good luck, because you're not going to have a good time. Not only is the frame rate doo-doo butter, but the resolution is completely trash. You cannot see more than 20 meters ahead of you. And if you're playing in cross-platform, good luck, because you're not going to be able to hit them. They'll see you long before you see them. Now, this only matters for cross-platform, but that's a huge feature that they are marketing, so it would be nice to be put on par with the other versions. I know the resolution will never be that way, but the frames should be. Now, I don't think I would see this as a bad port unless I played Realm Royale that just came out on the Switch, and it is 60 frames per second. So if Realm Royale could put that game on there for 60 frames per second, so can Fortnite. Fortnite is pretty much on everything, like I said, so I recommend playing it elsewhere. Now, the last game that I believe is one of the worst ports on the system is Mortal Kombat 11. Now, I was so excited for Mortal Kombat 11 to be on the Switch because it was the first big AAA title to release day and date with all the other versions, and I think it is the worst port on the system. It does play like Mortal Kombat and runs at 60 frames per second, which is nice, but the resolution sacrifices they made to get there are painful. Handheld mode is extremely blurry and muddy. It's very difficult to read the menus because of how blurry it is. Now, I can get past the resolution, but what makes this the worst port is the fact that they did not consider the platform they were porting to. Mortal Kombat 11 is essentially always online, so the portability is thrown out the window. A large amount of time is spent in Towers of Time, which are a sequence of fights to unlock gear and currency. These are always online, and you must have a stable connection at all times or it will kick you out. Even if the Switch enters sleep mode, it will kick you out of the tower and all your progress would be lost. It was just poor planning for a system that one of its main draws is portability. Another annoyance is the crypt, which is where you unlock most of your customization items. Compared to the other versions, it looks horrendous. Not only does it look bad, but it crashes all the time, so you're continually going in and out because you keep crashing. The Switch port also seems like it was an afterthought because it consistently is the last version to get updated. It took an extra week to get the update to tweak the currency system from all the other versions. I wanted to like Mortal Kombat on the Switch, but don't buy it on the Switch. Get it on PS4 instead. So those are the ports that I believe are the best and the worst on the Nintendo Switch system so far. I hope some of the bad ports can be updated to be on par with the better ports, and I hope future ports watch this video and update it so they're the best ports. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave a comment telling me what your favorite ports are and what ones you think are trash. And I'll talk to you all next time.